say that the difference between, wealthy people and people who are not wealthy and leveraging credit is what you spend your money on and how you pay it back. That's
Right,
it.
but part of the reason why, I asked you that question is to really address some of the quote unquote, oh, you did the double handed quote unquote myths out there, because a lot of people think and feel like, if I get my credit score up high enough, everything's golden. They're not thinking about anything else, but they don't realize that, there's multiple credit bureaus. There's multiple, like you said, multiple credit scoring models. Then on
Correct.
top of that, the lenders didn't have their own personal models or their own models based
You're
upon
absolutely right.
what's being done. So, I wanted to talk about that a little bit because, again, we talked about this earlier. There's so much misinformation out there.
There's a lot of misinformation.
Yeah, earlier today, I saw somebody say that the president of the United States works for the Federal Reserve. And I get it, everybody's got a conspiracy theory. But technically, the president appoints the Federal Reserve chair. Now, don't have time to go back and forth about what's the conspiracy theory about what's real. But at least in structure right now, the president appoints the person to run that organization.
Right.
So it's hard to say, well, where'd you get that from? And I asked them, and they couldn't give me any real concrete evidence. And so part of the reason why I do this show is to real concrete evidence. And so to say, no, that's not true. That's not true.
No.
Where you getting your information from? So that's why I asked. And we're definitely going to talk about strategies and techniques and tactics on how to build wealth. So,
let me just expand for one quick second too, is because what you said is absolutely right. Number one, different scoring models. Number two, different versions of those scoring models. Number three, different credit bureaus. But also number four, even when the inquiry is done, the type of lender they are matters. So your TransUnion credit report, your score may be different if it's a mortgage lender pulling it, an auto lender pulling it, or a credit card company pulling it, because they all have their own individual criteria. So this is why, these little nuances, they really mean a lot. I've had people look at Credit Karma who uses Vantage scores, and then I have a lender pull their file and it'd be 50 points off. 50 points is a huge deal. And sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. And so this is, again, I agree with you 1,000. Look, we agree on something. There is a lot of inaccurate information out there. And so this is why I really pride myself on education and empowerment.
Okay, so there are a lot of different credit models out there. So your recipe for success is pay your bills on time, right? But what if you're like what if you're like a government worker, right? And you shut down, you've been furloughed. So do you have any leniency and how long you can pay before you get dinged on your credit report?
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. So, honestly, so they cannot legally report you to the credit bureaus until you're 30 days late. So that's number one. And so the reason why I actually say that is because people don't understand. So back to credit strategy, you may have your PICO bill, your life insurance, sorry, Rashawn, your water bill, other things that are not on your credit, your cable. And then you have your card note and you have your credit card. So people automatically say, let me pay my PICO, let me pay my auto bill. Now, I'm not saying don't pay your utilities. That's not the message Terri is saying. But what I'm saying is that credit is about looking good on paper. Why are you looking good on paper? Because you're trying to get money, you leverage other people's money. And so you have to play their game. So when things are tight, make payment arrangements with the things that are not on your credit report. You know how many times as a single parent that, I had, got laid off or something happened and I did not have all of my money? Well, guess what? I had to pay my card note. I paid half with one paycheck and half with the other paycheck. I may have gotten a late fee. I may have been late in their system, but I was never 30 days late for it to hit my credit report. So my credit report looked perfect because I split it up and did as much as I can do. The other thing is, like, let's say you have 5 credit cards. Okay, say money is tight. Why on earth would you default on all 5? Let's say you have to strategically sacrifice 2 or 3. Look at which ones have the highest limits. Look at which ones you've had the longest. And maybe you genuinely just do not have the money. Some of these minimum payments are $25, on some items. It depends. So maybe you say, all right, I have 5 cards. These 2 cards that have the higher limits that I've had the longest, no matter what, they are being paid on time. You may have some late payments or something else on the other ones, but at least you did not let everything on your credit report go, completely down. So when you're in the process of rebuilding, number one, you'll be able to explain. Number two, it's going to be faster for you. And then also talk to your creditors. They know it's a government shutdown. You'd be surprised how many creditors have different programs, have different options, will put a payment at the end of the loan. One of the things I try to tell my clients is be empowered to pick up the phone and have a conversation.